Hey guys, welcome to another Reaper blog tutorial. Today I'm talking to Emily Halberstadt from A Shell in the Pit Audio. We're looking at some sound effects that she did for Smarter Every Day with his potato gun slow motion
super slow
stuff.
motion.
Super slow motion stuff. Yeah, so we're going to look at the Reaper session and see how she made all the sounds. Yeah, so let's start off with playing the first clip and so that everyone can kind of see the footage and what's going on. So this is without sound. Normal speed.
Oh. He gets very excited.
It's a great episode.
Yeah.
Why do we need sound design for high-speed video or slow motion video?
We need sound to prevent boredom and people just, losing interest because there's no variety in the image. It's very, extremely slow moving and people just don't have those attention spans.
But also there is no audio.
Yeah.
Like these cameras, the Phantom, it can't capture audio. And even if it did, you can only slow it down so much before it's inaudible again.
Yeah, a lot of people actually, that was kind of one of my goals in designing these, is to make people think that this was the actual audio.
Yeah.
And they did, which is crazy to me because it would just be so impossible for it to sound like this.
Right, because it's slowed down, 10,000 times?
Yeah.
So, it's easy to get below human hearing.
Yeah,
the sample rate would be so
sound
low.
is not nearly as slow as the video is.
Yeah. So what's your approach to layering sounds like this?
It's still the basic stuff that you would do for any sound design, like cover all the frequencies. You still need high frequency, even though maybe that wouldn't be intuitive because slow motion stuff wouldn't necessarily have that.
Yeah.
But you still need it there.
It wouldn't sound right.
It would feel missing and it would maybe a little boring still without it.
But I guess also because a lot of the sounds that you're using are then stretched to 4 times the original recording length, you would need something with high frequencies to actually sound bright.
Yeah, exactly.
After stretching.
Yeah. For this I used a lot of just breathing and stuff like that. And then also to have, for when it cuts into the slow motion, to just have a bed, basically, of just a low drone to give it that feel, that slow motion feel. All slow motion videos do that, that have sound anyway.
Can you take us through kind of the categories of sounds that you have in this?
Yeah.
I see breaths and potato.
Yeah. So...
my potato library is lacking.
So this top one is the gun, everything related to the potato gun. So the trigger,
the sparker,
and then the actual bang when it goes out, when the potato kind of leaves the end. And then
you kind of watch this a frame at a time and think about what all the moving parts are going to be.
Yeah. I watch it a whole bunch of times before I start, and exactly, especially with these ones, it was kind of hard to figure out what was going on all the time, and it also kind of it felt like it had to be a little bit scientific.
Yeah, because it's for a science channel.
Yeah. So I was watching the real time and listening to the real time a lot to see what happened with the airflow and all of that kind of stuff, which it's not scientific or completely accurate, obviously, because it's impossible, but...
do we have the real-time audio in that?
So you can kind of hear I actually did use, I think I used that stretched in some of them.
Do you think about the environment, or is it kind of just, making it up, right?
Yeah.
But you're thinking about, the echo in the room, or in this environment or anything like that when you're doing these?
A little bit. it's so exaggerated that it's mostly just making it seem almost surreal, I think.
Yeah.
So it's not, I don't think it's too much based in reality in that kind of way. Like for the verb, it was just about finding a weird sounding long.
Yeah, something really long.
Yeah.
Kind of bassy and not realistic.
Exactly. This was actually one of the ones I added quite a bit later because I realized I needed some more suction type sounds, and it's
like moving air
Yeah.
or like gas sound and fire.
Yeah, exactly.
Without crackling fire or anything like that, because it's moving so quickly, and it's really just the gas igniting, right?
Sucked out, and that's
and this is all your voice.
That's just me breathing and stretching it a lot.
And you're using lots of little clips to kind of loop. Is that what you're doing there?
Yeah, I think that's what I was doing. Yeah, it's doing like those really subtle movements. I think I just put a lot of detail there. Oh yeah, the potato has some squeaks, which was just, I recorded rubbing a metal sheet basically with my palm.
To be the potato squeezing through that pipe.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. That was fun.
Do you ever approach any of these thinking like you have to get the same actual sounds?
I often, my mind...
Like, did you try pushing a potato through a pipe first?
No, I didn't do that. But my mind does often go there for most, or a lot of things that I design. And a lot of the time it does work, if I use the actual thing. Like for the others...
But you gotta exaggerate them, right?
Yeah, exactly. Always add more layers in it. It's always just a layer if I use the actual thing and kind of hidden in there. Like for
that's something that kind of gives it authenticity, maybe?
Yeah, I feel that way. Like, I guess in this case it's something that would be obvious to do. The slow motion fruit one is similar to this, and there's the part where there's the watermelon has exploded and they're all kind of hanging in the air. And there's like impossible to find that in the library.
Right.
So
floating fruit.
Exactly.
it's probably not making a sound at all.
Slow floating fruit. So I put my binaurals on my bike helmet, and I got like all these things from my fridge, fruit things and grapefruit, and I kind of like squeezed it like in, so it sounded like it was all around the microphone for your head.
Yeah. Cool.
That made quite a mess. And then I think this is the most important layer. It's kind of like the mid to low end whooshes. I think these are very similar. It's just all the like fiery whooshy movements. I didn't actually use too much real fire sounds. Some fire whooshes, but I found kind of low end regular whooshes work.
Some of them sound almost more like warehouse bangs and stuff like that, stretched out.
And then the final layer is, or bunch of layers are just these super end, low end. There's the drone, and then just like subtle,
very rumbly,
deep rumbly stuff.
And that's from Reactor.
Those were Gord's in his library. He has a big bunch of low end recorded stuff. I'm really into color coding.
Yeah.
So I put my low end stuff at the bottom of my session and the high end at the top. And the low end is red and the high end is blue. And the middle is yellow and orange.
Cool.
Yeah.
And for effects on this, it's pretty minimal, right?
Yeah, just a delay and those two plugins I mentioned, the delay and the
And a reverb.
reverb.
Yeah.
I used some compression too, but Those were the main ones.
What about automation?
I have everything in these folders so that I could kind of pan stuff separately because the potato moves out quicker than all the stuff.
Right.
All the fire, I guess it was. And so I just used an envelope on the folder instead of panning on actual tracks.
Okay.
And then volume automation, pretty similar.
You do a lot of item editing, fades.
Yeah,
like
that's mostly how I do volume. And then, I mean, a little bit otherwise, but that's the bulk of it. It's just fades.
Cool. And you follow the camera's perspective on that.
Yeah.
So it starts, the ignition is at the bottom left, and you go up to the top right.
Yeah, I always kind of, the far left would be like 50% or 60 maybe.
Okay, so you do it more narrow then.
Yeah.
Good. Okay.
Cool. Yeah, I don't usually go all the way. It was all just like, I didn't really have a process to this. I was very unsure of how to do it, and I just tried a bunch of stuff until it sounded what I imagined it would be.
Yeah. It's kind of like making up stuff. Like it's grounded in reality. It's not like creating magic effects, but there's quite a bit of freedom with what you can do with it.
Yeah, definitely. I wonder if it would sound like, for something like this, how different it would sound if someone else approached it. Because it does I definitely think there are things that it has to do.
Yeah, with motion and... Yeah. Cool. Thank you so much for joining us and sharing your story. Really cool.
Awesome.
Hey guys, thanks for watching. Hope you've enjoyed this one. If you want to see more interviews on this channel, give this video a like and a comment, subscribe, be a patron, and visit the website reaperblog.net.